headphones. And I don't want to because I did my hair. So back to where we were, Richard Ramirez, and now we are at Richard Chase. So let's dive into the story. Great, great. You're here for the spooky. Cool, 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 cool. There's no spooky, unless you, I mean, it's just today is what we call a gold star. Gold star serial killer. Oh shit, I had written down notes too, but don't even worry. I will go and explain with you as we read. So let's get started. I love this. I love this so much. So as you can tell, the artwork for the last book on the left is quite different than some serial killer books out there. Um, this book is written by Ben Kissel, Marcus Parks, and Henry Zabrowski. They are the last podcast on the left. And the illustrations are by Tom Neely. Go ahead and follow him on social media. You like comic books, don't ya? So, anyways, we are dealing with Ted Bundy, Richard Chase, Ed Gein. Oh, yeah, we did Ed Gein last week or last month, whatever. That was hella funny. Good old goofball Ed Gein. Anyways, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez, David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, BTK, Andre Chikatilo, and Free Dahmer. Yeah, so hang on. Hang on. So this book was supposed to be like the holy grail of, I mean, the boys had been going on tour, but to write a book based on the serial killers that they covered and give it to package it up with the fucking illustrations. I mean, it says right here, to the listeners without whom we would not exist. And then they do like a little creep show. They do if you like spooky, then the creep show is like a classic creepy but fun comic book type of movie. It's just so fucking good. And then also later on, the Tales from the Crypt came out. That was goofy, dark, spooky, and awesome, right? Anyways, Google it. So, anyways, let's go to Richard Chase and I'll start reading for you guys. Okay. Let me see first, see how I look. Do I look okay? I did my hair, did my makeup. I don't know. It is what it is. Whatever. Okay. Look at that. Look at how sad, but look at the big eyes. Don't you know? Okay. My ringer is on. Chapter 2, Richard Chase. Mental health breakdowns run a broad gamut. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Spoiler alert, this has a lot to do with mental health and really gruesome murders. So, get your diapers ready because you might pee your pants or you might puke a little in your mouth. I don't know. You're a trooper though. You can do it. Mental health breakdowns run a broad gamut. The more common examples involve a period of depressive days spent in one's own bed, check, or a manic binge of unprotected sex. No, not me. I don't leave the house. Fortunately, when it comes to the world of mental breaks, these scenarios and most others are not violent in a way. There are exceptions. Yikes. Illness. Oh, wait. Where it is true that those of us with mental illness are far more likely to be the victims of violent crime than the perpetrators, 10 times more likely than the general population, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Untreated mental illness can conceivably lead to a tragedy on a scale so savage that the brain struggles to comprehend it. When it comes to not taking your medication, that worst case scenario was named Richard Chase. Who here suffers from mental illness? I do. Who here has seen, I don't know, how actually mental illness can debilitate you. I have. And who also has talked to a doctor and been completely honest and has gotten treatment? I have. It's okay. It's not a stigma. There's nothing wrong with having a mental illness. And I don't know, I didn't read ahead, but Marcus Park, our narrator, Marcus Parks says, mental illness is not your fault. It is your responsibility. Okay? It's okay if I have schizophrenia or I'm bipolar or major depression, or whatever. It's not my fault, and I shouldn't have to feel ashamed for having major depression. What I should maybe feel ashamed of is if I don't take care of myself when I know I should, and my friends and family tell me I should. And so it's not my fault, but it's my responsibility. Anyways, I'm getting a bunch of notifications over here and I don't want to. Mhm. Okay. All right. We'll see. Sorry. End rant. Okay. So this cute picture is my favorite Henry Zabrowski. Worst case scenario in the encyclopedia, it's one, no TP in the stadium bathroom. Ooh. Two, a Mike Pence presidency. Three, Richard Chase. The man was a grenade ready to explode, and not a Bruno Mars grenade. A very serious grenade that would damage Sacramento for years to come. Boy, Sacramento, don't you know? I have family in Sacramento. Actually, I would spend every summer in Sacramento, um, as a child till I was in high school. Richard Chase would make a great Scientologist. I could totally see him jumping on Oprah's couch and screaming, right? About Thetans, the Scientologists. I don't know, that's Scientology crap. Richard Chase, aka the Vampire of Sacramento, claimed the lives of 6 people over the span of just 1 month during the winter of 1978. Fueled by his largely unchecked schizophrenia, Chase believed in the power of drinking blood to sustain his health and killed his victims in order to satiate that foul urge. Oh shit. People blowing my shit up. Sorry. Isn't it nice to have people check on you? Because I'm a vampire. Very polite vampire. Okay, so Chase believed in the power of drinking blood to sustain his health and killed his victims in order to satiate that foul urge. WTF. Chase's belief had its roots in 2 conditions: hematodispisia and Renfield syndrome. Let's just say Renfield syndrome, okay? The former is a sexual fetish that is almost par for the course in the world of serial killer. Hematodispsiacs um, are sexually aroused by blood, just as pedophiliacs get their pleasure from free. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And a parrot head loves Jimmy Buffett. Richard just had an intense fandom for spurting blood. Spurting blood? Really? Renfield syndrome is not exclusively sexual in nature, although there is some debate as to whether it is an expression of schizophrenia. Hmm. Welcome, Sandor. Rather than a syndrome unto itself. But supposing that it is a legitimate illness, a person suffering from Renfield syndrome considers the consumption of blood a basic need to sustain their existence, just as Dracula's Renfield devoured insects in attempt to absorb their life force. Yeah, but like he's not, he's not taking like a bunch of crickets and spiders and eating them. He's fucking trying to drink blood. They should have called it like Dracula syndrome. Renfield is my dream role. I hope to play him in the eventual CW teen drama about his life. Not funny? I knew a kid who ate bugs in middle school, but he just ended up ostracized for half a year until we became friends after realizing we both really liked heavy metal. TMI. The syndrome has 3 stages, beginning with experimental self harm. When the afflicted test the waters by opening a wound and consuming their own blood, it's like gross. Next comes the consumption of animal blood from a living specimen. No. Waddles, no. Wow. Okay, so next comes the consumption of animal blood from a living specimen known as zoophagia. Finally, the afflicted will decide, as Richard Chase did one afternoon, that the only source of power strong enough to keep them alive is his or her fellow humans, often with tragic results. Isn't that strange? It's like he thought I need to eat um I need to drink this guy so I can take his life force and have a harder dick. You'll see. Man, Richard Chase would have loved my 6'7" body. I'm like old country buffet of blood, although perhaps healthier to consume. Right you are, Ben. Oh my god, he love your clots. Ew! It's like when you find big chunks of dark chocolate in vanilla ice cream. A decadent delight. My goodness. It's worth clarifying that Chase was not a serial killer because he suffered from schizophrenia. We're going to talk about some key words today. We're going to talk about serial killer and spree killer. We're going to talk about product killer and process killer. Spit some knowledge. Let's go with, we'll say spree. What's a spree killer? If you know what it is, type it in the chat. Rather, his mental illness only guaranteed that his serial killing would manifest itself in some of the more hellish crime scenes in history. As you can see in this illustrated picture, there's a poor little boy selling lemonade. And right next to Richard Chase, right next to him is Richard Chase. Can I buy lemonade? It is true. He did have buckets of blood. And I believe there also is a blender involved in this story. Stay tuned. Richard Trenton Chase was born in Santa Clara County. That's right here. In 1950. The younger of 2 children. Just think Silicon Valley or San Jose. While some sources contend that Chase endured numerous childhood beatings from his father, Ray, let's just call him Bondi. I don't, Biondi? I don't know. The man who helped capture, it's not important. The man who helped capture Chase and who wrote the definitive book on his life maintains that his father was no more than your average strict disciplinarian. He just got the normal, 1950s discipline by just getting slapped around a couple times, That being said, it's undeniable that his parents made grave mistakes. They actually did fucked up. They fucked up big time. They're partly responsible, but whatever. It was a process of his demise. That being said, it's undefinable that his parents made mistakes concerning little Richie's dire need for the regular medication and hospitalization. In fact, there had been signs for decades that something was very wrong with their son, but the Chases chose to ignore them all. Oh, Ray Biondi. And yes, it's gonna be a gold star stream. And if you want, Sander, you could drop some. Oh, you're probably working, but you can drop some knowledge on some keywords. We've got process killer, serial killer, spree killer, and product killer. People in the chat are like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" Well, maybe a fellow weirdo family can help me out here, but it's okay. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. I would make a joke about all the grave mistakes Richard made later on in his life, but unfortunately, I'm not the crypt keeper. It's hard for a parent to comprehend that their son might be a vampire, sort of like when a kid from Wisconsin comes out as a Chicago Bears fan instead of a Green Bay Packers house. Hey, welcome. You're in for a treat. Tonight's a gold star. And yes, we're gonna get to it. Not much is known about Richard Chase's early years, but in 1960, when Chase was 10 years old, his mother confined to a neighbor and that she had found a dead cat buried in the flower boxes, don't you know? And that she had no idea where it came from. Yeah, okay. While their neighbor listened sympathetically, she later told Biondi, which is the detective that cracked this shit, that several cats had gone missing in their neighborhood while the Chase family lived there. Once they left town, the mysterious disappearances stopped. How many cats need to go missing in this neighborhood before anybody says anything? Like, I think it's your fucking weirdo kid. I don't know. I don't know. And welcome, Sans. Um, yeah. Richard Chase is the poster child for animal mutilation. I don't want to talk about it. Waddles, no. Like an experimental chef without the tat sleeve. And what is a chef without a tat sleeve? Just another chubby ginger with a felon on their record. That's fucked up. Richard Chase would never funnel his curiosity about nature into anything remotely constructive. Just killing cats. Hence the picture in the beginning of the story. Oh, if you were here in the beginning, I can show you. If you want to see the picture, everyone has to vote for it. Fucking, yeah. I'm going to keep going. Chase started showing other signs of aberrant behavior specific to serial killer development years before his mental illness had even manifested. Okay, so the kid is showing signs of specific signs that serial killers kind of have when you profile them as early childhood, not just mental illness. So we could keep mental illness like on a separate shelf and just look at the weird disgusting shit that this kid is doing. They're signs. Signs. Okay. Young Richard had a patent for starting fires. Oh shit. Petty thievery and lying. Taken separately, these behaviors are fairly common in adolescence, but when both are present during a child's development, they can be a strong indicator of future antisocial behavior. Richard's parents viewed it as a boys being boys. See? Don't ever let that go. I mean, I don't know. I'm a nanny, so I say, oh, sometimes boys will be boys. But yeah, not in this case. Boys will be vampires. Richard showed no outward signs of schizophrenia during his middle and high school years, which is common with males that have schizophrenia. Comes out later when they're adults, sometimes triggered by marijuana and other drugs. According to his former classmates, he was successful both socially and romantically. Okay, kind of normal. The problems only came when he tried taking the romance to the next level. Speaking of romance, I love my dress, and it's in the last podcast on the left. Can you see my little? Ah, it's the first time I'm wearing my dress. I love. I love. Last podcast on the left. They have a weird sense of fuck yeah, heavy metal, black, love laugh in a very fucked up way. And I'm here for it. So, anyways, I'm wearing my dress tonight and fuck you. I love it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, he's trying to take it to the next level. He's dating like Tiffany. Well, what's going to happen? Of course, by taking romance to the next level, we mean going out to Arby's and ordering a Big Montana for your number one guy or gal. Oh, that is love. I would have loved to see his Tinder profile. Richard Chase's uh, Tinder profile? Must have blood. I'm bloody sick. I'm I I don't know. Both girls with whom Chase attempted sexual encounters in high school reported that he had problems sustaining an erection. Oh shit. This embarrassing setback would be devastating to any teenager. But to a boy whose mind was already beginning to fracture, this inability to become erect became the foothold his schizophrenic delusions needed to firmly establish themselves. So, whatever's going on in his head mentally, I mean, I don't know. He couldn't get it up. And so he's going to start to correlate. Oh no, the microphone. He's going to start to correlate um maybe why he has a flaccid peepee. And how can he fix that? Okay, I bumped my microphone. Is my audio still good? Donut, are you there? I'm really gonna get a new microphone after tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Uh, well, as we see here in this illustration, if Richard Chase were to have a Tinder profile, this is what it would fucking look like. I don't know. Well, I don't have a magnifying glass, but what I can say, it cuts off here and there. Damn it. That's not okay. That's not okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch to my Burger King headphones. Hold on, guys. Executive decision coming up. You can't say that it cuts off here and there, but it's good. Like it can't cut out. Like that's just um unacceptable. Right now. Can you hear me now? Is it like, hi, welcome to uh Shelly's Marshmallow Palace. What can I get for you? It's okay. I know what it sounds like though. And can I'm checking my headphones now. You're gonna have to give me the A-okay on the headphones, baby. That's what I really want to know. Anybody, give me the heads up if you're close by in the chat. I want to know if three extra bacon. you you're too skinny. Are you trying to beef up? Trying to beef up. And yeah, so you can hear me. Oh, like me. Plump and sassy, like Shelly B. Okay. Okay. All right, so you can hear me. I don't know how good you can hear me, but you can hear me. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's actually, I can go back and check right here. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, good. All right. I think you guys can hear me, so I'm just going to go on with my bad self. Fuck yeah, let's roll. Okay, here we go. So if he had Tinder, like you guys know what Tinder is, right? It's where you order your personalized arts and crafts from. Richard, 23, bus driver. Sick of all the haters, y'all. I want to be with someone who appreciates the real me and give me the blood my penis needs to work again. Serious comments only. Yes to fatties. You are so full of blood. He would not say that. He would not talk like that, but that's hella fucking funny. If this was 2020, he would have realized you gotta get good at the cunnilingus. Just eat pussy and keep your original self in the game. Keep yourself in the game, except he probably would have been real bitey. And I don't need Cosmo to tell me women don't enjoy a man playing hungry, hungry hippos with their genitals. We don't. To his credit, Richard saw a psychiatrist about his impotence, although it seemed his burgeoning schizophrenia was either ignored or glossed over completely by the professional. Like, what? You're not going to ask him psychological questions because I mean, it's not just, there's something else going on if your ding dong is not working. Okay? And this doctor failed to ask. So fuck that doctor. You're hella dumb. I should be a doctor. Let's see. It seemed he was told that the most common cause of impotence in teenagers is suppressed anger, like Ned Flanders. Specifically, anger toward women. Guys, I know you guys are here. Let me know. Have you ever been so angry your pee pee doesn't work? Please answer. I'm dying to know. All right. See, never. All right. Okay. So, are you just not an angry guy, or nothing affects your pee pee? It's indestructible. It's always gonna get hard, no matter what. I shall call you Boner Boy. Always ready to go. Awesome. Love it. Woo. Okay. Where do you live again? Just kidding. Okay, here we go. So yeah, suppressed anger, boys, is bad for your health. He decided that he'd find another way to solve his problem. Oh, he wasn't interested in the cause, only the cure. What's the fucking cure? He decided that he'd find another way to solve his problem without the trouble of trying to unpack his inner rage. He had read in health class that a penis becomes engorged by filling with blood. Kentucky, my name is Billy. Billy, I'm coming right over there. And I don't care if that is not you. I still want Billy. he, he had read in health class that a penis becomes engorged. Say it with me now, engorged by filling with blood. Okay, so he's like all of us in high school. We're going through sex ed. When the male penis becomes erect, it's full of blood, whatever. So here his fucked up thinking is thinking, if I drink blood, if I don't have enough blood in me. If I get some more blood, I will be better. Boom, solution. Bada bing, bada boom. Get some blood. Where do we get blood? Yeah. So, and his schizoid brain reasoned that his impotence had a simple solution: more blood.
You heard in health class that sex kind of counts as exercise. Yes. Well, I'm not having sex either. So good for you. You're married. Regular exercise. um, God, I'm really. Oh, you know what? We'll talk about my sex life later because I have a new thing about that. It's my new brand. My new brand is I'm a what am I? I'm a sassy, sexy spinster. Yeah, yeah. That means they're gonna be angry all the time, and overweight, angry and overweight. No, but just because I'm a spinster doesn't mean I'm not having sex. Oh yes, baby. Okay, let's go. Carry on. One girl asked the teacher, and the teacher reluctantly agreed, like, yes, it is exercise. It is. Breathing, cardio. Yes. Okay, sorry. Whew. Okay, we're talking about serial killers, not sex right now. This isn't Love Line. That's later. Come back later. Okay, so he's gonna try and solve his problem, correct? Um, so he needed more blood. If he were to find and drink enough blood, he reasoned his sexual organs would be just as functional as any other boys in his class. He's a real boy. I can already see Alex Jones selling male vitality blood. Yeah, I know you guys are sidetracking me. Stop it. Uh-huh. Uh, Male vitality blood pills to target audience of incels. Don't be an incel. Get laid. It's fucking awesome. The first victim to fall prey to this reasoning was a kitten chase. Oh my gosh, a kitten was the first? Ugh, animal cruelty coming ahead, guys. The first victim to fall prey to his reasoning was a kitten Chase stole from his girlfriend's house. He didn't have a girlfriend? Really? His girlfriend's house and started raising at his own house. Okay, so this was in high school, high school. The next victim was a neighbor's dog named Sabbath. Richard shot Sabbath with a 22 pistol and collected its blood in a Dixie cup. Give me your blood, Waddles. I still have my tag on it. Um, Dixie cup. Yeah, okay, whatever. And he would press up to the bullet holes as if he were casually refilling a soda at McDonald's. This is the first and last time I'm going to say this in this book. Dogs are not soda machines. They are cuddle machines. Right, Marshy? Where you at? You still sleeping in my spot? Yeah, she's sleeping in my spot. Remember mixing all the fountain sodas together at fast food restaurants? It has nothing to do with draining blood. Okay. From a dog. But it was kind of fun, and this is how I'm coping with this information. Although he wasn't diagnosed until years later, it obviously it's obvious from Richard's behavior that his schizophrenia worsened after high school, as it often does when the afflicted matures from adolescence. Oh, it worsens? It starts to ramp up? Yeah. Whoa. Okay, here we go. A 2-year stint at a local junior college proved largely unremarkable, just like me. But when he moved out on his own at the age of 20, things started falling apart. Chase lived with two women, okay? It's like what, 1976, 75? I don't know. I forgot. Um, Chase lived with two women. one of whom he just knew from high school and the other one he'd met since graduating. While things seemed fine at first, Richard's mental state quickly began to deteriorate. This was only exacerbated by the era in which he lived. It was the 70s, which meant the casual use of weed, acid, speed was the norm in their household. You know, he's got two chicks that are just like, cool, whatever, Richard. And they're like all chopping like vegetables in the kitchen. And then he's just like, walking in from outside and he has like something squirming in a bag. And then he goes in his room and shuts the door. And then you hear, ba, 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 and then like the squirming stops, and then you hear gulp, 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 gulp. Just kidding. Spurred by mind altering substances and increased paranoid delusions, he stopped showering and refused to wash his clothes. One night he boarded up his bedroom door, locked himself in the closet, and boarded that up from inside as well. When his friends managed to extricate him from this makeshift fortress and asked him why he done it, Chase said it was because people were sneaking up on me from the inside. People are sneaking up on me from the inside, so I had to. Eh. um, that's my impersonation. Um, okay, so he's doing drugs. The girls are going off to and from school or whatnot. Who knows? And he's good old little Richie is just dropping acid, smoking weed, and boarding himself up in his room. Wow, people were sneaking up on me from the inside. Wow. Okay. On another occasion, he strolled out of his living room nude and joined some friends in the living room. Oh my gosh. So awkward. You ever go to your friend's house when you're like, when they have a roommate and then their roommate comes out and like tries to hang out with you guys and you're like really nice about it, but at the same time you're like, when you going back inside? You can't though, it's their house, right? Anyways, Rich is doing this but naked. Okay, uh so he was jabbering complete nonsense. Great, great. His behavior at a party a few weeks later was equally alarming when he spent the whole night wriggling on the floor, moaning and making strange noises. I'm dancing. If you guys listen to this episode that the boys cover it on their podcast, it's early on in their career, but it's fucking amazing. Henry Zabrowski does a voice and he's like, I'm dancing on the floor. Like he's just almost like a detective popcorn voice, but just, anyways. So, okay, guys, everyone do the screaming taquito. 5, 6, 7, 8. Does anybody have a blood? Any blood I can drink? All right, whatever. It's possible Chase was like, it's cool when Iggy Pop does it, so let me charm the pants off of these folks. I'm just asking questions. One by one, Richard's friends abandoned him for more stable companions. His circle of acquaintances dwindled to almost nothing, then became non existent after an incident at one of his remaining friends' apartments. It was a small gathering, and Richard was left alone with a stranger, while the other two guests, whom he knew, left on a beer run. As soon as they were out of the door, he began grabbing at the girl, following her around the room as she attempted to fend him off. When the two men returned, the girl immediately told them what had just transpired. Richard met this accusation with his own unique rebuttal, amplifying his soft, high pitched voice to a screaming falsetto and saying that nobody had any right to tell him what to do or where to go. Inexplicably, they listened to Chase scream for an hour before he finally decided to leave. Richard might have been the scariest sovereign citizen. He's a sovereign citizen. That's so fucking funny. I get a cop. I'm not a policeman. I'm a princess. Sorry, I just had, for some reason, that little voice is the little girl from Kindergarten Cop. And yeah, I'm not a policeman, I'm a princess. Okay, it's possible that the word of this incident got back to his roommates. And as he was kicked off the lease of his apartment soon afterward, at 21, Richard was friendless and living with his mother after his parents' divorce. Left to his own thoughts, another of his motivations for killing came to the forefront: extreme hypochondria. His supposed health problems were not possible, but he believed in them vehemently, going as far as to tell his mother that his heart would stop momentarily, his stomach was turned around backward, and that bones were growing out of the back of his head. Oh, gee, sounds like Pumpkinhead. He thought he was Pumpkinhead. He thought he had a schizophrenic mind, and he's just like fucking gone. For some reason, this is what really scares me. When I used to have panic attacks, I would have long episodes where I convinced myself I could no longer unconsciously breathe. That was unbearable. At one point, I even went to an emergency room. The pain, the confusion, and fear Richard lived with must have been very intense, but seeing his x-rays must have been fun. Henry actually says that he had a panic attack and he thought that he couldn't breathe or he forgot how to breathe and he goes to the emergency room, but I think he said that he was super high and that he was just hella dumb, like how could I forget, like he was just put it together like I'm a dumbass. Um So, at this, all of this made Chase a very difficult person to live with. So, after bouncing back and forth between his mother's and father's home, he was sent from Sacramento to Los Angeles to live with his grandmother. Here, he spent what we assume was a fairly uneventful year driving a bus full of developmentally disabled kids to the school where his grandmother worked. He's in charge of a fucking short bus. Nothing is known about the specifics or what transpired during this time. He's like some fucking mental dude driving around all these these poor children are like, we're messed up, but there's something wrong with him. There's something really wrong. Okay, I'll read the illustration. Pipe down back there, or I'm gonna drop you all off at the skeleton ghost factory. Can any one of you kids tell me? I'd hang out in the back of the bus. I'd hang out in the back. I know, right? Can any one of you kids tell me if my face is upside down? Excuse me, sir, but there's a green light. Can we go home? Hold on a second. He drove a bus full of children? This is more dangerous than Nightmare on Elm Street 2, when Freddy was driving the bus over a cliff. Ooh, I want to watch that now. Shortly after his return, Richard's imagined health problems worsened, prompting call after call to emergency services. Finally, a paramedic who refused to treat him suggested that his condition might be in his head. How did they tell his mother that, like, he's fucking, we don't, there's nothing go he's crazy bitch. All right, so yeah. He suggested to his mother that she get him professional help. And after she checked him into the American River Hospital, Richard received real mental health treatment for the first fucking time in his life and was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Okay, all right. We're getting somewhere. Doctors recommended inpatient treatment and care, but ultimately deemed him safe enough for the streets. His mother took him home, and they resumed the status quo of their living arrangement, ignoring the doctor's recommendation for a treatment plan. Whoa! Back up. You take him. So he's constantly sick and freaking out and throwing weird little schizophrenic things, okay? And I'm the mom, and I finally, like, the ambulance, they come, paramedics come, and they're like, go to the psych ward, like, get this guy to the psych ward. And so I do, and they say we do know what's wrong with him. He's schizophrenic, and we recommend he stays here so we can give him some treatment and see how it goes. And she says no, right? She ignored the doctor's recommendation. No, that's where we're at. How is that not responsible for what he, is about to do? Essentially, they sent him home with a ain't no crime in being weird. I'm not going to say creative. Ain't no crime in being weird, right? We can't send somebody to jail for being a weirdo. You have to wait till they do a crime, I guess, but with mental issues there's like a little more, should be a little more consequently his delusions only worsened to the point where Richard believed his mother was poisoning his food and controlling his mind. His parents must have known their son wasn't mentally fit, but instead of encouraging intensive treatment or even at home care, they decided the best cure for their son's schizophrenia was independence. Hey! He was squirreled away in his own apartment across town, given an allowance, and left to his own devices. Oh man, he's just getting worse. When the doctors say he has schizophrenia? Oh, Marge, tell me, what did you guys do? Oh, we got him his own place. Yeah, he's living down off of Watt Avenue, and yeah, there's a pool. Like, okay. Hope there's no children in that apartment complex. Ugh, I think I read that somewhere. Oh my, that's my mom. She's calling me. I think I read that somewhere the best care for deeply mentally disturbed is a credit card and an apartment. Yeah. Oh my. Richard needed more independence, like the Food Network needs another Guy Fieri show. Actually, there's never enough Fieri, but it's still a fun joke. I need more Guy Fieri in my life. I need more Flavor Town. I need more Bound for Flavor Town, and I definitely need more Guy Fieri hooking up with Bigfoot. Okay. Richard spent the first period of his newfound freedom riding his bike back and forth to a local rabbit farm. Oh my gosh, he would buy a rabbit, bring it home, butcher it, and eat its entrails raw. If he had the time, he would drink the blood separately, but if not, the entrails and blood would be dumped into a blender and consumed in a chunky, half liquefied concoction. Wow. Wow. At some point in my life, I'll end up paying $25 for this at a very fancy restaurant. Oh, Henry Wood. This is why we need to take of mice and men out of schools immediately. The rabbits. Lenny didn't eat the rabbits. I think he just had sex with the rabbits. I don't know. Every time I tried to read the book in high school, I just stared at the pages and thought about I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Chase engaged in the disgusting, so you don't get it. Chase engaged in this disgusting practice because he believed his heart was shrinking, and the only thing that would keep it from disappearing altogether was buckets and buckets of blood. The more technical terms he was displaying, I think he's accidentally crushed. Oh, I think he accidentally crushed it when he was hugging it. I think so. He squeezed it because he was petting it so hard, right? He accidentally broke its neck or some shit. But yeah, like he was just a big giant, like didn't know his own strength. Ben Kissel. Anyways, okay, so here we go. In more technical terms, he was displaying signs of Cotard syndrome. Cotard's has three irritations. The patient believes they are a walking corpse. The patient believes they are alive but rotting from the inside. Or the patient believes they are missing essential pieces of their anatomy, such as blood and organs. Wow. Wow. Fucking metal. But also incredibly scary. These guys just walk around like this. There is one in your neighborhood. Oh, no, there's not one. But you know what I mean? Like, there's some mentally sick people out there. Acknowledge it. After months of consuming raw rabbit, Chase discovered that his supposed cures were actually making him fucking sick. One night, his father walked into the apartment to find his sort oh to find his son sitting um on the couch, wearing only shorts as white as the rabbits he'd been eating. So he was sick as fuck, just sitting there like a zombie. After giving his father a quick rundown of his recent culinary habits, Richard told him that one of the rabbits had gone bad and he most likely had food poisoning. Uh-uh. Yeah, it's the food that's the problem. That's like blaming the road. I'm not going to read that. For crap. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. Doctors found that Richard was indeed sick, but not in the way that he thought. No. Rather, it was blood poisoning brought on because he moved from gulping down bunny cocktails to slamming that shit. Yes. He was mainlining the ingredients. He was mainlining bunny blood. Cool. That's why you look like a zombie. Okay, great. Richard claimed he had eaten a rabbit contain uh, he I ate a rabbit and it was contaminated with battery acid. I don't know. What the fuck kind of excuse is that? Like, that's how you get blood poisoning? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Richard claimed he had eaten a rabbit contaminated with battery acid, and that the acid had seeped through the walls of his stomach into his flesh. Wow. Just he just made that shit up. He had convinced himself that the only thing that would cure the influx of bad blood would be an injection of clean blood to straighten out his system, eh? Eh? Bloodletting? Get the bad blood out and then put in some good blood. Uh Hey, welcome to the stream. So he's dabbing animal blood? Believe me, I love meat. I love blood-based foods. Looking at you, Scotland. Blood pudding. Blood what else? Blood sausage. Um like that's what Henry's talking about. He likes that type of like fancy foods. Your pizza burned. You went outside to smoke a cigarette. Fuck the pizza. Anyways, so this is what Henry's saying. He likes these fucking weird, fancy, dark, crazy Adam Zimmerman eats whatever around the world type of shit, right? So he likes that, but you think just the sounds coming from his room would have called somebody's attention to the situation. Like how terrifying. How strange! My headphones just turned off. Am I being cursed? My battery is 90%. I'm fucking cursed! I'm fucking cursed! Oh my god. You know who cursed me? You know who cursed me? Baby Yaga. I don't know what's going on with my equipment tonight. Fucking A. Fire alarm went off. It hurt. My earphones were like, what? Baby Yoda? No, not Baby Yoda. Baby Yaga. Do you remember Ant-Man and Wasp Girl and the dumb burglars? One of the guy he goes, "It's Baby Yaga." Anyways, I'm so dumb. 90%. I'm cursed. Whoever cursed me, fuck you. How'd you do it? Anyways, so we're gonna get over Henry eating, blood sausage, okay? After this, Richard's father could no longer ignore his son's mental problems. We're about halfway, by the way, if you guys need to take a break. Chase was committed to a mental institution, but it only took 2 days for him to escape by running out the front door. Hey, why don't you send me a pizza? I'm giving a service to you right now. I'm servicing you right now. Give me pizza. Okay, anyways. So he was committed to an institution. Great, finally. Fuck. How many cats need to die? How many pets need to go missing? How many times do you have to see this guy come out of his room and start babbling shit naked? How many times do you have to see him ride his bike down the street with bags of rabbits and blood coming from his backpack? You know what I mean? Like how many times? 1970 something. So he goes to the institution, click cling, he's like there, like girl interrupted. He's fucking in a mental institution now. Uh and this is what happens. So the first time the first mental institution he was in, he just walked out the front door. Okay. So then they put him in another one. They transferred him to a more secure facility where he earned the nickname Dracula. Hey man, look, it's fucking Dracula again. This guy talking about blood. We fucking call him Dracula. You know what I mean? That's just some Sacramento guy. I don't know why I did that. So they call him Dracula because the hospital staff, he got that name from the hospital staff because he only talked about blood and killing animals. This reputation was further bolstered when he emerged from his room one day with blood smeared from his face. Isn't it beautiful? When the orderlies checked his quarters, they looked out the window and found two birds. Two fucking birds. Two birds with broken necks lying on the ground. Oh my gosh. Now he's like little Petey. Like pretty bird. Like he killed Petey from Dumb and Dumber. He's like Hannibal Lecter. Instead of brains, he enjoyed treating birds like juice boxes and drinking their blood. Yeah, I guess. But if he found himself in the kitchen of one of the many locavore restaurants dotting the landscape of his hungry country of ours, he could be the possible James Beard. See, I don't care. Richard was released from the hospital on September 29th, 1976. Here we go. Why? Why not? Much to strong disapproval of the fucking entire staff except his doctor. Mm-mm-mm. Shake my head. They're letting Dracula go free, girl. Oh, hell no, girl. Ain't he the one that killed them birds? Yep. And the doctor's just gonna let him go? Yep. Fuck it. That was me just doing a conversation of two nurses. So the doctor, he alone found that Richard had developed good socialization with a realistic view of his problems. Yeah, he's totally good. He's good. Anybody who talks about blood 24/7 who isn't a blood doctor is just fine. Talks about blood. On August 3rd, 1977. The police were called to Pyramid Lake in Nevada on a report of an abandoned car. They arrived to find a 1966 Ford Ranchero stuck in the sand with a bumper sticker that read, "I'd rather be flying." Whose car is this? We're about to find out. Inside they found a loaded 30 caliber rifle and a 22 rifle, both stained with blood. Next to the guns was a pair of bloody tennis shoes and a blood-soaked pile of clothes. The floorboards held an even more disturbing discovery: a fucking fresh liver marinating in a bucket of blood. Using their binoculars to scan the area, the police spotted a nude Richard Chase perched on a large rock about half a mile away. Okay, when the cops approached him, he took off through the desert, but was quickly apprehended by an officer on an ATV. When they approached him, Chase had blood smeared across his face and his chest and face, under his armpits, and in his ears. When the cops asked him about the source of the blood, he replied, "It's seeping from me." When it was discovered that the liver had come from a cow and not a human, Chase was let go, once more escaping all charges, including a public indecency rap for roaming the desert naked. Wow. 4 months after the incident in the desert, for reasons known only to him, Chase's violent behavior escalated into the realm of attempted murder. On December 27th, 1977, at 6:30 p.m., Dorothy Polinsky was doing the dishes in her kitchen when she heard a sharp pop followed by breaking glass, and felt a streak of heat pass right above her skull. What the fuck? Chase had fired his newly and legally obtained 22 pistol from his ranchero as he drove by her house. Fucking drive-by? He's gangster now? Choosing at randomly. This is what we call a spree killer. It's ramped up. Um, it's escalated with the animal mutations, and now it's kind of like, what is he doing? This Okay, so here we go. So the fucking bullet had passed through her bun, on top of her man bun, on top of her head. I mean, it's not a man bun, it's a lady's bun, but you know what I mean? Pew! It lodged itself in the back of an open kitchen cabinet. One had seen the Okay, no one had seen the person who fired the bullet that almost took Mrs. Polinsky's life. So the police were at a loss, but they would find a bullet that matched the gun at a much more serious crime scene the next day. When Chase once again, the next day, Chase took his 22 to the streets of Sacramento. Okay, guys, gold star territory. Fucking hold on to your pants. As Richard was driving a few blocks from his apartment, he spotted 51-year-old Ambrose Griffin unloading groceries from the trunk of his car. Griffin's wife heard two loud pop pop and turned around and watched her husband slump to the ground. While the first bullet had missed, the second hit Ambrose directly in the chest. His wife was so shocked that she never saw Richard Chase's car speeding away. Now that he had taken a human life, Chase's bloodlust intensified. Over the next month, so he took a human life, but he didn't take his blood. But his bloodlust is intensifying. Over the next month, a neighbor, Don Larson, witnessed him carrying two dogs and a cat into the apartment on different occasions, and she never saw him walking the dogs. She could only guess at what he'd done with his new pets, but she didn't think it important enough to report at the time. I ever, I ever see you hurting an animal, you are fucking dead. I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna be proud about it. Okay, not you guys, but anyone in my circle of me. Like, what am I gonna? Anyways, okay, so it was becoming apparent to Richard that animal blood wasn't making him feel any better. So on January 23rd, 1978, he switched up his strategy and had his first up close and personal encounter with a human victim. He first tried his luck at 2909 Bernice Street, walking up to the patio door of a woman named Janine Layton. Or is it Jeannie? I don't know. How about Janae? Anyways, the only thing that prevented her encounter with Chase that day was the law of the vampire. What's the law of the vampire? Does anybody know? What's one of the main rules of a vampire? Hmm? Oh, it says it right here. You have to invite them into your house. I guess he wasn't invited. So, yeah, the law of the vampire. Wow, she got lucky. Um, Richard would later tell the FBI profiler Robert Ressler that he had only one rule when he left the house for murder: the homes of his victims had to be unlocked. Huh? Eh? If they're unlocked, that means I'm welcome. But if they're locked, I'm not welcome. And I am a vampire, so I must adhere by these rules. Uh, or you grab a strand of hair or any of their belongings, then they attach that to the figure or doll. Then they say, Alakazam, poof, you're cursed. Oh my god. Are you guys cursing me? Don't talk about curses or voodoo. Stop it. Sickos. My friends. Anyways, so he can't go into a locked house. Um, it meant that he was not welcome. One wonders if Richard Chase knew this or if it was only a coincidence, but his one and only principle does indeed echo the old folk belief that vampires can only enter a residence if they're invited. Initially, Richard found Jeannie Layton's front door open. Still trying to find an invitation into the home, he moved on to the windows, which were locked as well. Finally, he tried the back door, where he found Layton staring out through the glass. Layton was disturbed, but called the police only after she heard about what occurred later that afternoon. So Jeannie Layton did not get killed. I guess he went to her place first, though. In describing what happened, she said Chase had stared at her with no emotion, as if he were looking at a car he was thinking about buying. He then lit a cigarette and walked away through the backyard. Wait a minute, he did the deal with it meme in the middle of a murdering spree? Deal with it. Oh man, he looked at her like Wayne looked at the Excalibur guitar in Wayne's World. It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. 30 minute 30 minutes later, he entered the unlocked home of Robert and Barbara Edwards. Okay. The couple had been out on a quick trip to the grocery store, and when they opened their front door, they found a filthy, scraggly Chase standing in their hallway. He scampered from room to room, evading the rightful homeowners at every turn. Woo! Ah, try to get me. He's like the greased up deaf guy from um what is it? Family Guy? Okay. When the Edwardses searched the house afterwards, they found a bag of items containing that Richard had planned to take. Wait, I read that wrong. It said they found a bag containing items that Richard had planned to take, including rings, a tape player, a decorative dagger, and a stethoscope. Okay, random shit. Then they walked into their baby's bedroom, where they found that he had soaked the baby's clothes with urine and defecated on the very spot where their child slept. This is hard to swallow. He peed on the child's clothes and then he pooped in the crib. Ah, holy shit. Oh my god. This is fucking crazy. Yeah, that baby is not happy. That baby's like, what the hell? Only I get to poop there. He fucking pooped in a child's crib and peed in its. Ugh. Okay. The escape from the Edwardses' home had worked up a thirst in Chase, so he went to the very same grocery store that he had just left for a refreshing orange soda. While searching for the drink, he ran into an old classmate, Nancy Holden. Walking up to her, he asked, up apropos of nothing, "Were you on the motorcycle when Kurt was killed?" She's like, "What? How dare you bring up my ex boyfriend's death?" Oh my god. Nancy had, in fact, dated a kid named Kurt who had died. Oh my gosh, what is this hair doing? Who had died when they were teenagers, but she barely recognized who the fuck this fool is. Dressed in a bright orange ski parka. What is he, like fucking Kenny from South Park? Richard was filthy, smelly, and skinnier than usual. The two made small talk, or at least what passable version Richard could manage, until Nancy tried to break free from the conversation. Richard followed her outside, asking for a ride, but she got in her car, started the engine, and drove off just as Richard was about to open the passenger door. His intentions toward Nancy Holden remain a mystery. If he was gonna go in and fucking kill her, go in and rape her. Oh, look, there's an illustration. Nancy and Richard. "Do you like my parka?" "Yeah, it's nice, Richard. It keeps my blood on the inside. I wear a pot on my head, so now I am a bowl of soup." "Wait, wait. That's great, Richard. Been seeing ya." Foiled by Nancy's vigilance, Richard returned to the neighborhood from whence he had come and, after wandering for a short period of time, focused on 2360 Tioga Way, the home of Teresa Whalen. His motive as he approached the house is unclear. The only explanation, if there is one, is that he may have recognized Teresa's van from his earlier trip to the grocery store, as Teresa had been there too. Schizophrenics are known to sometimes make connections where none exist. So it is possible that Richard Chase confused coincidence for destiny. He walked up to Teresa Whalen's door, took his handgun from his leather shoulder holster, ejected a bullet, and placed it in her mailbox. Why? Checking the door to ensure it was unlocked, Richard opened it to find Teresa on her way outside with the bag of garbage. As he raised the gun, she dropped the bag, and then, just as he fired, she held out her hand in defense, and the bullet entered the palm, traveled through the arm, and exited out her elbow. I'm like, which way do I have to do this? this way. No, I don't. Whatever. And it also hit her neck. So I don't know how it can hit her neck, but it. I can see how it can go through your palm and then come out your elbow, right? But I don't see that's a magic bullet to turn around and hit your neck, but whatever. Okay. She got fucked up. The bullet entered the palm, traveled through her arm, exited her elbow, and nicked her neck. Richard fired again. The second bullet entered the top of Teresa's skull, dropping her to the ground. The last shot was fired onto her temple from 6 inches away. A mercy. Messi. A mercy, considering that was still what was still to come. Oh, what was gonna come? I don't know, but I'm glad he fucking shot me in the head and I'm on my way up to heaven because I've got some god dollars I'm gonna spend and I'm not gonna think twice about what he's about to do to my body, okay? Picking up Teresa's body from the shoulders, Chase dragged her into the room, leaving a long streak of blood on the floor. After he'd laid her down on the bed, he walked back to the kitchen and found a knife, picked up an empty yogurt container from a pile of spilled garbage in the hallway on his way back to the bedroom. There, knife in hand, Chase began his vile work. He began stabbing the body with such force that he split open the sternum. He then sliced the left side of her belly. He reached in the wound and pulled out the intestines. Not a pig, a woman. The fuck? Richard proceeded to stab the corpse 8 more times, taking care to avoid the kidneys. That's when the yogurt container came into play. Like a field worker dipping a cup into a water barrel on a hot day, Chase dunked his receptacle into the open stomach cavity and filled it to the brim before bringing it to his lips for the first taste of human's blood. The cup was filled again, but this time he took it to the bathroom and smeared it on his face. La 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 la, like the final indignation came when Chase walked outside in broad daylight, still covered in the victim's blood. He's all like Zoolander, like, picked up a pile of dog feces from the yard. He went outside, picked up some poop, came back, put it in the corpse's mouth, and worst of all, when the autopsy was performed, it was discovered that Teresa Whalen was 3 months pregnant. That's okay. Her little baby was with her as they both like flew up to heaven. The kid's like, "Yeah, let's go to the casino, mom." This little baby angel winks. Okay, sorry guys, sorry. This is how I process shit. Gotta make funny dark jokes. Oh god, I'm fucking cursed. The Sacramento Police Department had no immediate leads when it came to the graphic butchering of Teresa Whalen. The only fucking clues police had were a set of footprints in a pool of her blood, the bullet that had ended her life, and a series of crimson rings nearby the body that must have been the bucket or pot that had been set on the floor. Alone, those clues wouldn't be enough, and Richard Chase would go on to claim 4 more victims in a single day before police even knew his name. Unlike the seemingly impulsive decision to target Teresa Whalen, it's thought that his search for the next victims began 3 days prior to the eventual quadruple murder. Okay? So, let's see. The first. What day is this? January 23rd. Now, January 25th. Okay, so this story reads like a true life horror movie. Richard has no discernible motive. He moves to a wind that no one else can feel, and yet everything has a terrible amount of symbolic meaning to him. Every chance encounter is fate telling him what to do. You can't reason with that, so he can strike anywhere at any time. It's truly a spree killing, being dictated by untreated mental illness. On January 25th, a couple in the same neighborhood where Richard was looking for magazines made a disturbing discovery on their back patio. One of their Labrador puppies had died from a gunshot wound, and its stomach had been ripped open. When police asked them if they'd seen any strange characters, they told police of a terrible smelling man wearing a dirty orange parka who had visited their house days before and had left with two of their puppies. This caught the attention of Ray Biondi. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm sorry. The lead detective in the Teresa Whalen murder and eventually the author of The Dracula Killer. The reports of the magazine hunter had piqued his curiosity, but when violence was attached to the man with the same description, Biondi already Biondi ordered an autopsy on that poor puppy. They found fragments of a 22 bullet, which wasn't enough for a match with the bullets found at the Whalen scene, but Biondi was thankful for any clue, no matter how small. No fault of the Sacramento Police Department. 2 days later, Richard would escalate from animals to humans once more. So he killed Teresa, and then he goes and he gets two puppies, kills them, and then he escalates back to humans. Okay. In what would prove to be one of the bloodiest and crudest mass murders in modern American history, Evelyn Meredith was a 38-year-old single mother living with her two sons, Vernon, 13, and Jason, 6, in the Country Club Center neighborhood of Sacramento. On January 27th, 1978, Evelyn was home with Jason and her sister in law's 20-month-old toddler. The plan was to send Jason on a play date with a neighbor to the foothill to the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains, but sadly the boy would not leave the house alive. At 9:05 a.m., Evelyn's friend Danny Meredith came over to the divorcee's house on a friendly social visit just to say hello. It's a cruel twist of fate that he showed up when he did. Evelyn had neglected to rent snowshoes for her son's trip, so she asked Danny to run the errand. Uh, had she gone out, it's possible the bloodshed would have been avoided. Fate was cruel, though, and after Meredith left, Richard Chase entered the house. So Danny left, and Richard Chase enters the house through the unlocked back door and walked to the bathroom where she was enjoying a soak in the tub. He quickly shot her in the head, killing her instantly. Boom, going to heaven. This is the first gold star moment in our book. Proceed with caution. While we don't know exactly what happened next, it is presumed that Jason heard the shot and walked toward the bathroom, the son, to see what happened. The boy was quickly killed by two shots to the head at close range. Going to heaven. His body left next to the bed where it fell. Again! It died randomly. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's because I talked about heaven and curses and oh my god, I'm gonna. That's it. Alright. Fuck my life. It just went doo 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 doo. I give up. Tonight's my last night of streaming. Okay. So Richard turned back to Evelyn's body and removed it from the tub and dragged it to the bed. His plan was to repeat the actions of the Teresa Whalen murder. But first, he'd need a knife. He went to the kitchen to choose the appropriate tool. But the front door opened as he searched it. It was Danny returning with the snowshoes. Pulling his .22 from his shoulder holster, Chase met Danny in the hall and shot him between the eyes. The gunshot triggered a noise from the next room and the cries of a toddler. To end it, he walked into the room, pointed the gun at the toddler's head, and pulled the trigger. Returning to the bathroom with two carving knives in hand, Richard began the same deprived blood ritual he had performed on the corpse from Teresa Whalen. The stomach was cut open from sternum to navel, then cut across the belly, exposing the intestines, which he pulled out, and then began stabbing specific organs, once again leaving the kidneys unscathed. The liver, however, was given no such distinction. He removed it, carved off a piece, and ate it. The rest of the organs were pulled out and discarded, unimportant. The ultimate prize was the blood that had pooled in the corpse's stomach activity. Using a bucket, Chase collected as much as he could carry. Give me a fucking break. Then, without horrifying cruelty, he took it even further, rolling the body onto its stomach and stabbing Dean 6 times before sodomizing the wound. And then he rolled the body back over and sliced open the neck and carefully cut out one of its eyes. And this is where I tap out like Kurt Angle tapped to Chris Jericho. Because of the movie Seven, I never ask what's in the box, and now I'll never inquire what's contained in a bucket. Would it would it make it worse if he hadn't done it carefully? Submit that it would not. Okay, after finishing with Evelyn Merritt's body, Chase returned to the toddler's room and brought that body to the bathroom. He split the head open above the bathtub and began removing the brains from the skull. A hellish spectacle that was interrupted by a knock at the front door. Jason was now hours late for his play date to the Sierras, and his friend had been sent to make sure everything was all right. It is a great mercy that Richard did not open the door. Instead, he waited until the little girl left, took the keys to Danny's Meredith's station wagon from the corpse's pocket, and escaped undetected. Fuck me. A bucket of blood in the body of the 20-month-old in hand. He took the bucket of blood and the body of the toddler with the split open skull. 30 minutes later, the crime scene was discovered when a worried neighbor opened the same back door that Chase had and saw Meredith's corpse. She immediately ran home and called the police, saving herself from fully witnessing the most gruesome crime scene. Good. I see body. I'm fucking out. I'm done. The police were at a total loss for motive, although it was obvious that the same person who had killed Teresa Whalen had also committed mass murder on that cold winter morning. The same rings were found next to the body, the same footprints tracked through the blood, and the bullets had come from the same fucking gun. But Chase, in a telling move that spoke volume about his sense of right and wrong, had worn rubber gloves, so no fingerprints were behind. Mentally fucked? Yes. Still has a sense of right and wrong? Yes. Crazy? Yes. But are we gonna, like, he still knew what he was doing. Okay. Hell yeah, he knew what he was doing. He's fucking sick. Um, Danny Meredith's car was found the next day, but there was nothing inside to link it to the killer. It was only after Chase's capture that the police would discover he had abandoned the car just 100 yards from his apartment complex. With no leads to speak of, Lieutenant Biondi tried a new technique he'd learned 2 years earlier at an FBI seminar. What? What did he learn? Psychological profiling? What the fuck? Somebody is using their noggin. Okay, check this out. Using this strategy along with crime scene evidence, he was able to make the following assumptions. Since no witnesses in this skittish white suburban neighborhood had remember seeing any minorities recently, remember, this was the late 70s, so people would have noticed a brown guy. Biondi assumed that the killer was white. The only suspicious white man who had shown up in recent local police reports was a filthy, stinking stranger in an orange parka. He also surmised that the perp was most likely schizophrenic. The attacks were disorganized, occurring in broad daylight. Aside from the gloves, no real effort to cover the crimes and no concern about any witnesses. Biondi took this to mean that the killer had completely been broken with reality. Extrapolating further, he assumed the murderer was an out of work, unmarried loner, partly because the killings had occurred during regular business hours. Boom, 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 fucking spot on. White guy. Um Schizophrenic, broken with reality, unemployed, unmarried. This guy is fucking hitting all the marks based off of like thinking. Small clues. Any person capable of the Wayland and Meredith murders would not only be unemployable, but a complete social outcast. Biondi therefore inferred that the murderer's social skill would be limited. All evidence pointed toward the killer having no prolonged interaction with the victims while they were alive. No, he did not stalk them. He did not like obsess over them. He didn't even fucking he didn't he it was disorganized and yeah, not a lot of social skills. Let's see. He would have pulled the trigger as quickly as possible to gain immediate control over the situation. He was not a strong man, okay? He was a wimpy, skinny ass little bony man, little Dracula piece of shit. Um, Finally, the detective thought that the perpetrator had probably spent time in a mental institution. Jeez, this guy is fucking mind reader. Possibly in the very recent past. The profile fit Chase almost perfectly. To this day, the FBI often holds up the Chase case as the gold standard of disorganized killer profile, and they take quite a bit of credit for this capture. But the problem with this claim is that the FBI was not involved in this case at all. While the method of profiling certain gave the detective the knowledge, um, helped once the clues started to come together. The actual work of Richard Chase's capture was performed by the men and women of the Sacramento Police Department. Doing it right. Sacramento, man, it has smart cops, really good tacos, and it's warmer than San Francisco. So it's better than San Francisco. Yeah, it's warmer than San Francisco, but now it's like riddled in meth. So take that, Zabrowski, like you would know. At the height of the investigation, there was over 50 police officers canvassing various Sacramento area neighborhoods to inquire about suspicious persons. Again and again, the same tall, skinny, filthy fellow in the 20s wearing an orange parka was mentioned. But according to Biondi, this wasn't very helpful in the search, as this was Sacramento in 1978. There were a lot of tall, skinny, dirty guys wandering the town. What was most helpful was the composite sketch that emerged from the people who had seen the man himself. The case broke wide open with Richard's high school classmate Nancy Holden recognized him from the sketch that came out a few days after the Meredith massacre and told her police officer father-in-law about the attempted kidnapping at the grocery store. From there, Biondi delved into Chase's past and found a concealed weapon arrest for 22, records of a stay at a mental institution where he was described as a violent patient with a penchant for blood, and the report of the naked and caked in blood incident at Pyramid Lake. What the fuck? Within this information in hand, detectives drove to Chase's address and knocked on the door. There was no answer. But oh dear, was he there? Okay. They could hear him running around inside, not wanting to compromise things by entering without a warrant and still not knowing whether the toddler missing from the Meredith crime scene was alive or not. The officers put on a little play in front of the apartment. They greatly oversold their intentions to leave. Hey guys, let's get out of here. He's not home. Come on. These guys, we're gone. Getting in our car. And it worked though. It worked. They waited for Richard to emerge. Sure enough, just a few minutes later, Chase walked out carrying a cardboard box. Swiftly, the cops ran him down and wrestled him to the ground. And after a tense confrontation during which he almost reached for his 22 in his shoulder holster, handcuffs were snapped on the vampire of Sacramento. When the police frisked Chase, they found Danny Meredith's wallet in his back pocket and photos of Jason and Evelyn Meredith that Richard had inexplicably taken from their house after the murder. So fucking creepy. A search warrant for Richard's apartment was quickly obtained, and the cops discovered a scene just as disturbing as they expected. All right, gold star territory again, guys. Hold on to your pants. A search warrant for Richard's apartment. Yes, 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 yes. Almost every surface was stained with either fresh or dried blood, down to a loaf of French bread that was sitting on the couch next to his bloody sleeping bag. Small bits of bone were scattered about the kitchen, and the blender smelled of rot. In the fridge, they found animals' body parts on dishes and human brain tissue stored in a container. It was assumed the tissue belonged to the missing toddler. Police also found anatomy textbooks, health magazines, and marked up psychology article titled Under Stimulation, a newspaper classified section with all the ads for dogs circled, and a spiral notebook. The notebook was filled with handwritten notes and drawings of guns, obscene language images, and swastikas. All right. As well as German translations. What? One page had Richard's signature written 12 times, with a statement written at the bottom. My name is Richard Chase. I am a 01000 computer. I was sent here in the year 10,000. Oh, guys, this is too good. This is too fucking good. Dear diary, do you think Nancy likes me? I'm beginning to suspect that I may in fact be Santa Claus. I'm technically into this new show called Fantasy Island. Dear Diary, I think I have found my true passion. The board game operation. Top 5 bands this week. Styx, Toto, Night, Ranger. Honestly, I think I may have enough blood. It's getting pretty gross. Amid all the gore and carnage, police found perhaps the most frightening object of all, a calendar. The word today was written on the dates of the Whalen and the Meredith murders. That same word was written on 44 more dates over the coming year. Jesus Christ! Charged with 6 counts of murder, Chase's trial had to be moved 120 miles south to Santa Clara County because of the well deserved local outrage concerning his crimes. Wow. Enough to save him. Wait. It still wasn't enough to save him. His insanity defense was bullshit, rejected after only 5 hours of deliberation, and Richard Trenton Chase was sentenced to death. Hell yeah, hella fast too. On May 8th, 1979. Oh, but Chase would not meet his end in the gas chamber as the state had intended. On the day after Christmas, 1980, egged on by his fellow inmates, Richard took a handful of antidepressants he had been hoarding from his daily dose and died of toxic ingestion on death row. What a piece of shit. We will never know what sort of life Richard Chase would have led had his family not lived in denial about his mental illness. It is true that it probably would not have been one of charity and kindness. He was undoubtedly a sociopath in addition to being a schizophrenic. However, had the right medication and treatment made its way to him, it's likely that Sacramento would never have experienced mental health's worst case scenario. It's most likely he would have been. So if like I don't know, like I don't have schizophrenia, not yet, but with major depression I take like certain medicines, and over the span of a couple of weeks I felt a little bit better. Like life wasn't so gloom and doom, it was just a little bit more easier to cope with. And it wasn't like meth or coke or like some type of euphoric high. It was just kind of like almost like a reset. And so that's why I like totally believe, like, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, you're not a doctor, so don't go making guesses of like I don't need meds, they're not good for me, or I only need weed or whatever. Like go see a doctor if you're experiencing things like this. And this is why we should talk about it, because his fucking mom and dad, if they were more open to like how important it is to take care of your mental health, then maybe they would have been more accepting that their son is a schizophrenic and he requires proper treatment. Okay? And that's why like I don't know why I felt like a nervousness about covering this one today, and I'm not afraid to like share my experience with life and what has happened with me and how I cope and how I go to therapy and have treatment and continue to live a life that I like. You know, it's not the greatest, but um, I don't know. I just feel like it's really important to always be honest and check in with our doctors, with our friends, at least with someone that you trust. Because, yeah, mental health can take a wrong turn, uh, compiled with denial and family and, like, I don't know, pride, ego, or embarrassment. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, so Richard Chase's perfect three-course meal. Haha. This is supposed to be our palate cleanser, guys. Everybody ready? Hello there. My name is Richard Chase, aka the Vampire of Sacramento. I want to welcome you to the most unique dining experience of your meaningless life. I curated this menu after years of experiencing the most intensely satisfying cuisine this world has yet to offer. I've eaten rabbits, cats, dogs, and yes, even the flesh of humans. I hope you enjoy this escapade of food so dangerous it could only be served to you by the Dracula killer. Choose one appetizer. Rabbit brain soup. Soup served with homemade croutons. It's possible that these croutons are toasted pieces of my own flesh, but you'll never know. Cat foie gras. I can't say frogwa. Foie gras. Whatever. Uh, this delicious feline dish is covered in a chunky brown sauce and served with artisanal bread that would stuff the gullet of Garfield. BBQ human leg shank. Not for the weak of heart, but certainly for the strong of ass. Our shanks are marinated in barbecue sauce and served with fries. We searched Instagram to find the largest legs out there to make this the perfect way to start off your dinner on the right foot. Choose one specialty dish. Actual baby back ribs with broccoli rabe. This deliciously tender dish will add years to your life because it's from a real baby. Sure, Arby's has the meats, but do they have the baby meats? I don't think so. Lips and assholes sausage. How does this differ from a normal hot dog? Well, the sausage is made up of football tailgaters after they've been eating and drinking beer for hours. These sausages would have Jeffrey Dahmer demanding to know the recipe. Choose one dessert. Head cheesecake with fresh strawberries. Although usually a savory dish, our take on head cheese is as unique as a unicorn and a Bigfoot wedding. This succulent cheesecake will satisfy even the most sophisticated palate. Blood swirl pound cake with lady fingers and male toes. And what can only be described as a match made in hell. This bloody good dessert will have you wanting to nibble off your own toes and fingers just so you can savor the flavor combinations provided here. Double dookie bunt cake with ganache glaze. Holy shit. Look away from this dish if you are watching your weight. This rich double dookie cake will make you happier than a pig in space. I call it the double dookie because it's loaded with only my finest feces. Enjoy. By law, I must add this to the menu, but I think it's horseshit. Consuming raw or undercooked meats, poultry, seafood, shellfish, or eggs may increase your risk of foodborne illness. Yes. 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 And that is it. You have it there, folks. I hope you enjoyed Richard Chase, the vampire, the Sacramento vampire. The boys cover, they also cover Vampire Hunters. They also cover psychic vampires. So if you like vampires, check out the last podcast on the left. If you like serial killers, check out last podcast on the left. If you like Guy Fieri fan erotica, check out last podcast on the left. Yeah, and I will show you real quick. Uh, if you can handle it. Oh my. Yeah. Okay, so if you can handle it, if you can hang, listen. Where's my window? Do, 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 do. If you can hang, why don't you listen to this? This is what the guy actually looks like. He's actually like a skinny I mean, does that look like the picture? Kind of. And they do a way better job ad-libbing what the hell is so crazy, funny, disturbing about this story. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. My name is Michelle Buff, and you guys can let me know. Uh, I'll actually put this up on YouTube sometime this week. And I will be back to read either BTK or The Son of Sam. What do you want? What do you want? Let me know. What do you want? And enjoy your pizza, even if it's burnt. All right, guys, go check out Last Podcast on the Left. And if you're interested, pick up the book. It's fucking cool, right? It's a good read. I'm so glad I didn't have to read it alone. Thank you, guys. I love you. I'll see you later. Have a good night. Bye.